All right, excuse me for this video being a little late. I caught Jack Move's already live, bro. Man, shout out to Jack Move. Anyway, besides the point, we're going to go right ahead and get into this situation. You know, originally I was going to talk about Shuhei Yoshida and, of course, his career and the fact that he was strong-armed out of his position, which ultimately led to him being, you know, the head of Indies. But then we got something crazy that happened, and this right here got a lot of people talking, and it really shows the lack of comprehension within this community as a whole. But nonetheless, we're going to go right ahead and just get right into it. I'm going to go right ahead, put a tweet on the screen right now, and I want you guys to read it with me. It says, Yoshida explains that PlayStation PC ports are primarily targeting the Chinese market, where PC gaming remains dominant and console adoption is still developing. Interesting. So luckily for us, this is a whole video. So what we're going to do is run the whole video, and then we're going to see if there's any inconsistencies on what this tweet is saying. Sound good? Let's run it.
In other words, people think that putting a game on PC means no one's going to want a PlayStation anymore. But I'm like, no, I just don't know that these people were that interested to begin with. And if they are, the only way you can really go and get them is to aggressively go and get them.
Well,
so
you here, you know that when publishers release games on multi-platforms, especially on PC, the number one market countries their games sell is either US or China. China is a huge PC game market, and China is growing but still very small console market. And in order to reach audience in countries like China, PC is crucial. PC SKU. Yeah, so I believe, having PC SKU really reach new audience. And after, and not, releasing day and day, right? Taking 1 year or 2 years, or sometimes 3 or 4 years after the release of original PlayStation version, I don't think, that hurts. Probably people who have purchased on PlayStation of that game would have purchased already.
All right. So I want you to tell me, did you guys hear anything contradictory of what this tweet is implying? Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, you did. Good. Good. Because if you paid attention to what Shuhei Yoshida literally said, he flat out said that, yes, we're growing the U.S. and we're growing the Chinese market. Now, people are hanging on to the Chinese quote, and they're also hanging on to two other things he said at the end. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove the U.S., for example, here, and I'm going to remove the last two quotes, for example, too. And I'm going to talk strictly about the Chinese market and just tell you guys how silly you sound in the long run, because a lot of people believe day and date is not happening and that Shuhei Yoshida has debunked this. Oh, yeah, there's so much to uncover in this. But let's start with the Chinese situation right by itself, okay? As you guys can see, I'm playing Black Myth Wukong, a phenomenal game. This game sold over 10 million copies within 3 days of being on the market. It's now over damn near 20 million as of right now in 2025. Now, what if I told you that 80% of the actual sales for Black Myth Wukong were on Steam? I think a lot of you will be shocked by that statement alone, but also a lot of you probably be in denial. I mean, judging by the reaction my last video got in terms of people trying to act like they're analysts, trying to say that, oh, the PC community does not make up for X amount of sales. Well, I beg to differ. In fact, I'm going to show you a chart right now in regards to Black Myth Wukong, and I want you to tell me if you see something very interesting. First of all, let's go ahead and bring up the chart. This right here is the top game sales for Steam, and this is literally back in September of 2024, last year. As you guys can see, Black Myth Wukong at the bottom sold a whopping 17.8 million total copies on PC. That's including all territories, etc. That's 17.8 million total copies. If we look at the territory, which is China, excuse me, it's 13.5 million. And then over 1 million in the US. And this is all Steam by itself. So to go off of what Shuhei Yoshida said, saying we're trying to grow in that particular market, as you guys can clearly see by this chart, this is primarily dominated by the PC, which also adds to the point that he just said in this tweet. So yes, no inconsistency there. But answer me this. How do you plan to grow in a market that is primarily dominated by PC? Do you really think console, those who are over there, situated in PC are all of a sudden going to become late adopters of PlayStation 5 or whatnot because you're releasing the game over there? No. The only way to go about this and to get the most and get the true growth out of that particular market is to go day and date with PC and get the full benefits of it. Lightning in a bottle is one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Striking where the iron is hot is the other. And looking at the biggest game they had, which was last year, which was Helldivers, mind you, they don't own Arrowhead, but they do own the IP of Helldivers. Helldivers was their biggest game, and we already talked about how much money they made in total over the base revenue that they made just strictly selling on the PlayStation 5 in general, and which was significantly higher on PC. So, people saying that day and date won't happen, I think that just contradicts your points right by itself. Now, let's go into the other point of growing in the U.S. and, using that same chart that I just used, that you just saw with Daniel Ahmad, or that, those numbers. Again, how do you grow in a market that you've already dominated in terms of the Xbox? Microsoft is pretty much non-existent compared to PlayStation right now in regards to competition. Sony literally has this generation on lock, with Nintendo literally being in their own particular margin, in their own particular level, their own little territory, so to speak, with 150 million units sold with the Switch. But again, Sony's already dominated this entire situation. And as you guys can clearly see, that even though they have over 75 million consoles sold, their software is not anywhere near at the profit margins that they want. Hiroki Totoki flat out told you numerous times that he wants to improve profit margin, for PlayStation going forward. And there's only one particular way to do that, and that is to go full force and embrace the multi-plat strategy, which you guys are seeing done. Now, to go back to what Shuhei Yoshida said about the whole no day and date situation. Mind you, Shuhei Yoshida is no longer with PlayStation, but let's just go off of what he just said right off the bat. No day and date. It amazes me how little memory dudes have, because within the last 6 to 8 months of PlayStation that we've got news-wise, in terms of day-and-date games, we've had Helldivers 2, we've had the Lego Horizon game, we had Marathon, which is also going to Xbox. This is courtesy of Bungie. And we had Until Dawn that released, and Days Gone that just released, announced as well at the State of Play. And of course, day and date. All of these games were day and date, and some of these games are going to Xbox. But also, here's another fun fact. Lost Souls Aside was the latest game that was PC day and date. And guess what? This ain't a live service game. This is a single-player game for PlayStation, published by PlayStation. So, I think there's not much else I need to say about that. And as far as his point about 1 to 2 to 3 year wait cycles for games, I think it's safe to say that was debunked just off of the amount of games I just listed right now from PlayStation that is happening. So, people might not like this, but it's the truth. Numbers don't lie. How do you grow? How do you think Sony's going to grow in this market, ladies and gentlemen? Console sales are going to are always going to be stagnant. They're going to stop at a certain threshold. Even with Microsoft not giving PlayStation any particular, competition whatsoever, and Sony dropping some good games here and there, these games are not doing what the profit margins of what Hiroki Totoki and the company need these games to do. Game budgets are at an all-time high, which we talked about numerous times. With game budgets at an all-time high and numerous games not selling ridiculously well, especially games like Stellar Blade or hell, even Astrobot, that should tell you something in general. And dudes will try to flip this and say, well, those games didn't have crazy budgets. Doesn't that kind of deflate the point that some of you guys are making in terms of, the fix for PlayStation is to drop games that are not the same budget as the AAA side and go the Astrobot route? Think about that. If they go that particular route and the games still aren't saying, that right there shows a big disconnect in terms of adoption rate in terms of the first-party software. I'm just saying. People are clearly buying the PlayStation because their friends are on it, and they bought the PlayStation strictly for the Fortnites, the Call of Duties, and everything of that nature. And the funny thing is, Microsoft owns for Call of Duty. So their revenue is going to be nonstop from PlayStation. The question is how PlayStation going to do things with theirs. And again, you guys seen it with your own eyes, the numbers. There's no denying it. Listen, you guys can console war all you like, but at the end of the day, reading comprehension and paying close attention to the numbers is crucial to seeing what exactly is happening within this industry. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be where I end the video. Like I told you beforehand, man, expect change, get excited for change, embrace gaming, because gaming is definitely heading in a different way as it currently stands. And a lot of people don't want to accept it, but it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you guys at this point. You guys can damage control. You guys can argue in Twitter spaces or wherever the hell you guys do, whatever you want. The bottom line is this: more gamers getting to play a game is not a bad thing whatsoever, especially when you already have diminishing returns and you have premium consoles now that can't even show you a day-and-date difference between games as it currently stands. I'm just saying. This your boy Bit. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and you guys be blessed. Peace.